Hey folks, welcome back to the Smokey and Giraffe's Variety Show. Today we are going to make a mushroom gravy. We have about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil in our pan, and we are on medium-high heat. We're going to cook about a third of a cup to a half a cup of onions just for about 5 or 10 minutes until they are softened and have turned a little translucent. That shouldn't take more than about 2 to 3 minutes. Alright, well it's been actually about 5 or 7 minutes, but look at our onions. They're mostly brown and they're a little translucent. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pour in our garlic, about 3 cloves of garlic, and also a fourth of a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Now we're not going to cook that long. We don't want the garlic to burn, but we do want to let off the fragrance. Now, oops. And watch out because the oil does splatter. About 30 seconds to a minute. Alright. And after the minute has passed, we'll put in our mushrooms. It's an 8-ounce can. It's a large can of mushrooms. You can put in more or you can put in less, but this will give it a nice mushroom flavor. So we're going to cook this until the mushrooms become a little soft and most of the liquid actually drains and kind of evaporates. So we're going to give that another couple of minutes to cook, and after that we'll add in our liquid. Alright, so we have cooked our mushrooms about 5 minutes or so, 3 to 5 minutes, and the mushrooms have been cooked down a little bit, a little browned in certain areas, and as you can see the liquid has mostly evaporated. So what we're going to do now in our final stages is we're going to add half a cup of chicken broth. Didn't have any liquid chicken broth with us, so I just used bouillon. A teaspoon of bouillon mixes with a cup of water to make a cup of broth. So I'm going to put that in there. And then because this is low carb, instead of adding the flour, we're going to add xanthan gum. So we buy xanthan gum in that gourmet flour area. And we have about maybe a half to a teaspoon of powder. So we'll sprinkle that in. And it won't clump like the flour will, but just in case, we're going to go ahead and whisk it in. Just to make certain that it doesn't clump. And it'll mix in well, and it'll very much thicken in a matter of no time. So as you can see, we've just put it in and it's starting to thicken it already. So we're going to cook this for about 10 minutes or so. And we're going to allow the gravy to thicken and the mushrooms to secrete more liquid. Here we are. We've let our mushrooms cook for about 5 more minutes, and we have a nice gravy. And you know, of course, if there's not enough liquid for your taste, you can always add in more water or bouillon or chicken broth in about one half cup increments. If you add in a half a cup, it's not to your liking, just add in another half a cup more. Alright, so we have this, and of course it's our low-carb gravy. Last night we made a pork roast or pork loin, and we thought tonight we would throw it into the gravy and kind of make like a little pork loin mushroom gravy. It sounded delicious before we made it, so let's try this. Alright, the gravy should definitely allow the pork to become even more moist or more tender than what it was last night. So we'll just let it saute in here, cook it for maybe about 5 minutes. And we're ready to serve. Here we are. Our mushroom gravy has finished, and of course our new recipe that we've cooked, our pork loin mushroom gravy, is complete. Although this is not in our current cookbook, for other recipes, low carb recipes, we'll pan on over at Smokey and Giraffe Low Carb Kitchen Recipes that can be found on Amazon.com. Happy eating. Have a great night. Mwah.